So you think all of California is the same?
Nope.
Northern California and Southern California couldn't be more different. Is one area better than the other? I don't know, you be the judge.
And if this is your first time on our channel, my name is Bernard McGovern, joined by Courtney Solis. We are both real estate agents here in beautiful sunny San Diego. If you're ever looking to buy or sell, we'd love to help you out.
Just because we're from San Diego, I'm not gonna let that cloud my judgment when I'm deciding between Northern California and Southern California.
As you mentioned, there are a lot of differences between the two areas of California. There's also Central San Diego. We're kind of just gonna lump these things into two different categories, North and South. And the first biggest things are the climate. This is probably a big one.
Yeah, I mean, just the size of California, it is huge. So we do have multiple different climates across the state. Northern California, you get more rain, there is more fog, you have more mountainous sort of foresty areas, whereas Southern California, I always say, is more of a coastal desert. You will have varying temperatures, obviously, spanning that entire state. We, down here in Southern California, are pretty even keel. Even keel. It's gonna be between like 60 and 85 degrees
pretty much all year round. Maybe like in February we'll get a little bit colder, get down in the 50s or 60s, but overall we have very pleasant weather down here in SoCal.
I agree, but Northern California gets a little more rain, so it is a little greener. You've got different types of plants that grow up there because it's not so deserty.
Sure. You also have the tallest trees in the world, apparently, up in Northern California as well, the mighty redwoods.
That's right.
Yes.
If we were duking it out, who has the better climate?
I mean, obviously we're a little bit biased. We do live in SoCal for a reason because we love the weather down here. I do like to go visit San Francisco because there are different types of things you could do up there as far as that, but as far as year-round good weather, SoCal's got to be.
Yeah. It's just consistent.
Yes.
It's consistency is key, I would say.
Yes. Consistency is king.
Is king.
Or queen. Whatever you want to say.
So if we're talking about the geography, specifically how it affects your outdoor activities.
Sure.
Northern California has some of the most premier ski resorts, national parks,
Yosemite, obviously.
Stuff you just don't get in Southern California.
We don't get a lot of that stuff. You can go skiing down in SoCal. You can go up to Big Bear, but the mountains up in the north are much better than they are in SoCal. So you got Mammoth Lakes, you got there, like Lake Tahoe. Oh, wow. So some of the best skiing in all the entire United States, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're not into skiing, you just like to hike or enjoy some of the most amazing nature, I would say Northern California really, like you mentioned, the redwoods, the sequoia trees. I mean, these are some of, first of all, like the oldest trees, the oldest plants that grow in the United States, and it's something you can't see anywhere else. Where else are the sequoias growing?
And the hiking trails are a little different here than they are up in northern, because you have those huge trees, so you get tons of shade when you go hiking out here. You're blazing out in the sun sometimes out here, so
that's right.
You don't get that covered as much as you do.
Yeah, so I would say just for geography, I think Northern California
gets the
pretty incredible.
Win on that one,
yeah,
sure.
I mean, super varied and really gorgeous and very interesting.
For sure. Okay, next we're going to talk about the culture and vibe of the two areas. What would you say the big differences are?
I would say Northern California, they've got a real focus on sustainability, eco-friendly stuff. Southern California is trying to come around to that trend as well, but I really think that Northern California has led the way with really green initiatives, stuff like that. And obviously you've got a lot of tech companies up there. It's very tech heavy. So I would say the vibe is maybe not quite as laid back as Southern California.
No. I think people also talk a lot about, because we've helped a lot of people move down from the Bay Area to SoCal down here. Right. It's like they say everyone kind of just cared about where you worked up in Northern California. When you come down here, like, oh, which tech company do you work out? Do you work at Facebook, Google, or YouTube, whatever it is? When you come down here, people's like, what's your favorite movie?
Right, right.
So it's just a little bit of different vibe.
It's probably pretty competitive too, right? You know, I mean, everybody's vying for those really amazing jobs.
Yes. So that's a little bit different down in SoCal. Although if you live in LA, you're probably like asking what shows you work on, what movies you work on. So
that's right.
And down in San Diego, we don't really care where you work.
Yeah. Everybody must work somewhere though, because it's pretty darn expensive to live here.
Although when we go to the beach, everyone's there, so I'm not sure.
Right. Nobody works.
I don't think anybody works in San Diego.
So between those two sort of cultures, I think that's a really difficult one to choose one over the other because it's really whatever you're into.
It's a personal preference, probably.
That one's really a personal preference.
But SoCal wins.
Who doesn't love to just be laid back?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we all know this is probably one of the biggest topics here in California in general is the cost of living.
Yes.
Cost of living in North or SoCal is not cheap.
Right.
So, but I would say Northern California definitely takes the cake for being the most expensive, at least on average cost.
Yes. There is a neighborhood, a zip code, Atherton. You may have heard people talking about that. It broke some records for having the most expensive average home price, I think about $7 million. That's it? That's it, chump change, up in the Bay Area there. That's the average home price. That's pretty crazy. So not everybody could live there. But obviously there are less expensive areas in Northern California. I mean, if you go a little more inland to, Sacramento.
Oakland's even a little less expensive.
Yeah. You could definitely get a little more bang for your buck, but those numbers are just sort of astronomical.
Yes.
So Southern California, still expensive as well.
Quite expensive.
Cost of living is kind of out of control.
Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, San Diego are all on the expensive side here. So you're probably gonna have to spend at least around $1 million at least to try to get a starter home here in San Diego.
So true.
Or Los Angeles for that
matter. And then you have little pockets like La Jolla where average home cost is also very high.
La Jolla, Rancho Santa Fe, very expensive.
Exactly. They are smaller areas, but you're gonna have homes $25 million. For sure. The cost of living, if I was gonna put Northern California and Southern California, I would still say Southern California.
SoCal, well, it's a little bit less expensive, not by much. As far as cost of goods and that sort of thing, they're probably relatively the same all in California. We all have the same taxes for the most part. So that's not a huge difference. But as far as housing costs go, I think SoCal's got to beat.
Yeah, I think so too.
So if you're not a big fan of driving nonstop, transportation, as far as like public transportation, like trains, planes, and automobiles, I would say Northern California probably has SoCal beat. Although SoCal is trying to increase their public transportation. I know Los Angeles is adding more train lines every year. San Diego's added a few trolley stops along the way. They're talking about high-speed rails going up and down the coast here too. But as far as day-to-day operations, getting to and from work and other locations, Northern California
just has them more developed. They've got the BART and Caltrain.
I wish we had better public transportation because I love taking it. When we went to Europe last spring break, and you just take trains everywhere you go. Yeah. Unfortunately, Southern California does not.
We're just a little bit behind the times there with public transportation, so I would say Northern California,
definitely has us beat.
Got us beat there.
Good for you.
If you're looking at lifestyle and health between Northern and Southern California, I would say this is one area where it's pretty much a tie. I would say there's quite an emphasis on healthy living, outdoor activities, fitness and exercise.
All year round, too.
All year round.
Even though the weather's a little bit better in SoCal, I feel like you could still be outside because it never gets like freezing in Northern California.
No, but it does at some of the mountains. But then you're getting outside and you're snowshoeing and you're snowshoeing. You're skiing, you're snowboarding. Yeah. It's an amazing workout. So I think there's always an emphasis on getting out and being active. I would say across the state.
For sure.
Which I love about California.
It's a draw.
Yeah, it's a draw on that one.
All right, next we're going to talk about education, mostly higher education here, because obviously they all have good public schools in different parts of the country here. But as far as higher education, colleges and beyond, what do we got?
Well, Northern California has some pretty heavy hitters there. I feel like I'm doing a sports report. You've got Stanford, you've got Berkeley, some really influential schools. You have a lot of really intelligent people coming out of those schools and going right into maybe Silicon Valley there. Can Southern California beat that? What do we have?
We have USC, which is a big one. Very good school there. We have also UCLA.
It's a great school.
A lot of the California state schools in general are pretty good, up and down.
UCSD is wonderful.
San Diego State and USD down in San Diego. So there's a lot of good choices here in both areas. I would say maybe Northern California might have us beat because they have some of the Ivy League schools.
Stanford's an Ivy League, we don't have any Ivy League down here.
No, so I guess you gotta get the nod to
Northern California. I think so,
And next one I want to talk about is the sports teams here because Northern California and Southern California have a big rivalry between their sports teams here, as you guys may or may not know. San Diego kind of lags behind a little bit on as far as the sports team goes. We all talk about that. We got the Padres, we have some MLS team coming, a few other smaller sports.
But Los Angeles.
But we're kind of holding people back
here
in SoCal. Los Angeles has pretty much 2 teams on every sport known to man out here.
What do you need?
If you count Anaheim as well.
Yeah.
They do a good job of it. I would say Los Angeles might be slightly more fair weather than they are up in the north.
You think they've got some diehard fans?
I just think there's some diehard fans up in north, just from my experience in both cities. I think the north might have us beat as far as sports teams go.
Oh wow!
I know there's some diehard Dodger fans, diehard Laker fans, Clippers, but I just feel like
hear people's comments.
I don't think people are going to love that comment.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I would say the people I've met from the north are bigger fans than
Raiders,
they are
Oakland Raiders.
Well, they're also now in Las Vegas now, so they're actually not in.
Oh gosh, see. But that was the fan base initially was Oakland, and that was huge.
So I might get some hate for that comment, but I would say the North might have a little bit better fans than.
Yeah.
Maybe not better fans, but more passionate fans.
Yeah.
Go SoCal.
Something I love to talk about is food, dining, cuisine, and are they so different, Northern California and Southern California? Yes, I would say so. I think Northern California really pioneered like the farm to table movement.
For sure.
They were really at the forefront with organic farming and organic agriculture, which has a huge effect on the type of food and cuisine that you're eating. And just having Sacramento up there. I know that's not specifically like I'm talking about a restaurant, but that's just like where all the food comes from. That's the breadbasket of the nation, you know? That's right, which is really impressive. And Southern California, I feel like we've got a lot of really impressive cuisine. Everybody wants to associate us with Mexican food, which we'll take it. Yeah, we're so close to the border. So Los Angeles and San Diego really do have some amazing Mexican food. Maybe Northern California has a little bit more Asian influence on the cuisine. But what about the drinks? That's a huge...
That's what I've been waiting to talk about.
You've been waiting to talk about where Southern California really shines.
This is where we shine in some facets. So if you're looking at a big wine drinker here in California, I think Northern California probably has us beat. They have Napa up there, obviously, Sonoma.
World famous. That stuff's amazing.
The best wine in probably the entire country.
And champagne.
But if you're a beer drinker, like myself, unfortunately, SoCal, I think, has Northern California beat. Even though one of my favorite breweries called Russian River Brewing, Pliny the Elder, is up in North Cal.
That's right.
But as far as like microbrews down in SoCal, between LA and San Diego, I don't think there's anybody that's going to be able to top those 2 spots.
Yeah, it's like a huge
We got Stone, we got Ballast Point, AleSmith, Modern Times, the list just goes on and on. I think we have over 150 alone here in San Diego. If you are a big wine drinker, Northern California. If you're a big beer drinker, like myself, you're going to enjoy San Diego or SoCal in general.
All right, so are they really so different, Northern California and Southern California? Yes, they are. They are quite different, but they're all wonderful. I would say the entire state of California has so many wonderful spots, and the differences is what makes it so great.
Yeah,
you don't have to always be in Southern California. Visit some of those other amazing cities in Northern California and just appreciate the differences.
And appreciate the whole state, enjoy the whole state.
That's right.
You can't go wrong.
That's right.
So if this was your first time on our channel, please subscribe to our channel as we post new videos each and every week. And if you're ever looking to buy or sell here in San Diego, we'd love to help you out. Thanks for watching, and catch us next time. Oh, and check out this video playlist we have just for, whoa,
hey.
Almost got me. Right here for more information about living in San Diego. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.